Hi, I'm Michael Pappas, founder and designer for KOBO Fishing Reels. Today we're going to go over the unboxing, the setup, and how to spool the reel. We'll also go over some of the key features that set us apart from the competition, how you should use these features, and why they're important. So when you open the package for the first time, we'll have our manual, some stickers, and a business card. You can call me, shoot me an email anytime. In the box there'll be extra spools. We have our level wind, an Allen key to attach your reel to your rod butt. You'll have a measuring tool for the spooling process in case it's needed. And you have your reel, which will have a spool on it as well. So now that we have your reel unboxed, we're going to mount it on our rod butt. You'll need your Allen key to do that. And today we're using a number 4 butt. So we're going to take our reel, put it on our butt. And you want to do your best to align the reel with the ferrule at the bottom. So now we can check our alignment. That's a little off kilter. So now that the reel is aligned to the rod butt, we'll go ahead and install the rest of the nuts. So now that we have the reel mounted, we're going to go ahead and take the spool off. So we're going to back off the drag and pull our release pin and rotate the frame. And now the side plate comes off. We have a spool nut we remove. And now we'll prep the spool. We have some electrical tape. You're going to make a couple wraps. Now we need to put our spooling rig onto our butt. Now we're going to take the line we're spooling and put it on our spooling rig. When you're setting up your spool onto whatever spooling rig you have, you want to make sure that the spool is aligned to the reel. If it's offset to one side, it tends to build up line on your spool to one side of the spool. Take our line and pass it through the frame. There are a lot of ways to attach your line. You take 2 wraps and use a uni knot. Cinch it down nice and tight and doesn't slip. So now that you get your line on there, you can trim the tag end. We'll put the spool back on the reel. We're going to align the spool to the spool hub. It'll slide in. Our spool nut. And next we want to align the frame to the removable piece. And to do that, we'll put our between our 4th and 5th marker. And then wait till we're aligned with our logo. So now we're going to go through the spooling process. So you hold down the right button for 6 seconds. It'll take you to the menu screen. Once you're on the menu screen, you'll go to spooling reel. And here you're going to input your line types. So we're going to spool 1, and then we're going to adjust the diameter of the line. This is 80-pound Cortland master braid, which has a 0.20 inch diameter, which is about 0.51 millimeters. So we're going to put that into the screen. Now you're going to begin spooling by holding the right button for 3 seconds. And now you're going to come to the spooling screen. To operate the reel, you push the left button, and you can hold it for momentary, and you can press and hold both buttons for 10 seconds, and it'll automatically bring in the line. So we like to set the reel to about 200 feet per minute, and that's what it'll show on the screen. And we'll start increasing the drag. And we want about 15 pounds of pressure during the spooling process. And on our reel, it's going to actually show you drag tension on the screen. So we're going to try and get that right about 15 pounds. Now that we have our tension adjusted, we're pulling line in at 15 pounds and 150 to 200 feet per minute. And so for the first 2,000 feet, roughly, we're gonna manually put the line on. We like to use a steel rod to do that. So we have to grip it with our hands or any kind of towel. What we're gonna do is we're gonna fill up the spool nice and even, no crisscross pattern needed, until we fill the inside radius of the spool. So one thing, if your tension is too high, your line's gonna dig in on your main spool. So you just wanna keep an eye out for that, because you don't want the line digging into the spool and getting damaged due to friction. And so right now we're at 16 pounds. And so we'll just keep an eye on it, 16, 17. We have 500 feet of line in, and we're coming in at 200, a little over 200 feet per minute. During this process, we're also counting revolutions. So if you're spooling a reel that we don't know what the line diameter is, or exactly, that's the number we want to keep an eye on during the spooling process at the end. On our website, we have a calculator where you can input the number of revolutions and the measurement we take at the end, and it'll give you the program more closely. During this process, as the main spool line goes down, the drag will typically go up because the diameter of the spool is changing, or even the temperature on your friction clutches. So now that we've spooled the reel about 1,300 feet, we're up to the inside radius of the spool, and we've kept a nice level profile on the spool. And so now we're going to put our level wind on and let it go the rest of the way on its own. So to put the level wind on, there's a release pin down at the bottom. And so you put it on the spool, on the reel. You'll pull the pin down until the pawl catches. And so now we're going to put the line between the guides, so we can go up and around. And so now it's between the two steel pins. So now we'll just let the reel come in the rest of the way on its own with the level guide. You want to keep an eye on the drag, make sure it's not going too high. From our testing, what we found was anything above 15 pounds has a lot of diminishing returns in terms of the compactness of the line. Anything less than 15, 10 or less, you get a spongy spool. So now that we're just over 6,000 feet, we're pretty much at our max capacity that we want to get our daytime wind on. So we're going to go ahead and stop the process. And so now we're going to continue to the final screen. So we're going to hold the right button down for 6 seconds. We're going to go to the next menu, and it's going to ask you if you want to override or complete the process. If you've already spooled a spool and you want to program it, you can kind of skip this whole process and jump to this last page and put in your feet that you've saved. So now you hold the right button down for 6 seconds. And you've spooled your reel. So you can see that at spool selection. We have spool 1, 60-50 at 0.51 and 80 pounds. Now ready to go.